Buffalo Wild Wings Radio Row and your Mattress Firm post-game show as the Lobos fall 66-54 to New Mexico. It's time for our post-game coaches' comments brought to you by Delta Dental of New Mexico. Let's bring in Lobo head coach Craig Neal. Coach Neal, a loss in the pit to USC. As you look at the stat sheet, which you are right now, what stands out to you most?
Well, you know, you have some goals in mind. You want to keep people under 40% shooting from the two-point percentage, and we did that at 38. And you want to keep them under 30 from the three-point line, and we did that. And then, you know, the offensive rebounds, I think, affected us. Jovanovic had 7 offensive rebounds that led to scores or fouls. I think the offensive rebounding hurt us. But all in all, when you look at their stat sheet and how you guarded them, how you did some things, you're kind of feeling good. Then you look at our stat sheet and you see Devin with 15 and 10 and O with 11 and 10, and you think you're going to win. That those guys give you that kind of output, but we just didn't play well. And you know, I'm trying to figure out. There's no excuses here, though. I don't have any excuses. We've got to keep battling. We got to keep getting better. But you know, we got a lot of new guys that have to learn, and they got to learn on the fly, because you know, they came here and now they're getting an opportunity to play. And if they're, you know, they want to play, they got to get out there and perform at a higher level. And we just can't tie the game at 47-47 and give them 3 straight baskets uncontested. You just can't do that. I mean, you can't go down and I mean, I know they got 2 European guys at the same time. They don't look that much the same. So, you know, you got to figure out who you're guarding and what you're guarding. And, you know, then they just set us up on a couple slips where we've covered and covered and covered. And our guys just, it's a new group that's having a hard time communicating. And, you know, that's a growing pain, but not real happy. And I know we got a lot of work to go, and, you know, I'm just sad that we had a great crowd here and we just didn't get it done. I mean, once we got to 47-40, I thought we had a chance, and we just couldn't get over the hump.
Coach, talk about Hugh Greenwood, one of your 2 seniors, went 0 for 11 today. And, I mean, is he trying to do too much, and he's not? I mean, or do you think it was USC's defense? I mean, they had a couple of stunt defenses where they were showing zone, then they were showing man-to-man, and do you think...
Yeah, I've never been. You played the game and I played the game. I've never figured out how you can't know if they're zone or man. I've never tried to figure that out. I don't think it's ever affected me. I could always figure it out. I think, you know, we acted like a deer in headlights the same. And I think Hugh's trying to do a lot. I think he's trying to be a great leader. I think he's, you know, the hard thing is when you're going in, your first 3 shots are really tough shots. You can't get into a rhythm. And then you start doubting if you know, you're gonna make shots, or you know, and you know, I gotta give him credit. He kept shooting them, and it wasn't like they weren't bad. The ones in the second half were open looks. I mean, it's, you know, we had good shots, we had good offense. We just couldn't make shots. I mean, I don't think I've ever been a part of a game. Maybe I have. I'd have to look back where you shoot 12% from the 3-point line, and you know, that just can't happen. And you know, we just. You know, we turned the ball over 12 times, which is where we want to keep it at, but you can't win games when you only have 12 assists.
I'm going to go back to the first half when the Lobos got down 10, and you had a very young group out there, Coach Neal. Right. And I remember when you subbed, you took them off the floor together, Joe Furstinger and your point guard, Tim Jacobs, and at that juncture, they had given you guys some fantastic minutes to help you get back in the game.
Well, I think early in the game, you got to get those guys some experience, and then, you know, Hugh wasn't playing real well, so I had to get him out, give him a break. Either he was tired or he just didn't play well. And those guys got to get some on-floor time, and I thought they did a good job. I thought Tim did a good job. He's very capable. I thought Joe played well, and Sam and X just got to find their way. I mean, they got to find their way and figure it out. The only thing I can't understand is that they're so athletic. We get 2 or 3 stops, they got to run for layups. I mean, we got to try to get those guys out in transition, and we're not doing that. And that's something we got to improve on. And they got to play with a little bit more confidence. But you know, that's what it is when you have a young squad.
Yeah, and we talked about offensively, where are you going to get the points from? And today you had 54 points. Your senior point guard scored goose egg, and then you had 11 points off the bench. Is it early opportunities? I mean, where are you going to get those points?
Well, you know, if Hughes shoots like he's capable, shoots 50%. If he makes 4 of them, that's 12. And you add that up, and you get. The thing that he's got to figure out is we got to get to the line. I mean, we're usually shooting 30 free throws a game. We couldn't get to the line in the first half. We didn't drive the ball hard enough.
And I thought Delaney would do that when he saw that zone.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm an athlete, I just salivate and think, you know.
We had Sam and X. At one time we had, you know, sometimes we had 2 of them on the floor. Most of the time we had 2 of them on the floor. And that's when you got to drive gaps. And, you know, when that corner shot's there, drive it like we did against Idaho State, we were able to do that. Today we were very, very tentative and not very many people looking to shoot the ball or wanting to shoot the ball. Or we had a lot of shot takers, not a lot of shot makers.
Did feel like, and you mentioned it, you talked about your front court guys, you have to feel very happy with the performances of both Abacha Jet and Devin Williams, who both gave you a double-double.
Yeah, and that's, you know, I thought they played well. They just had some mental breakdowns defensively that hurt us late in the second half and gave them some easy shots and some, you know, you can't battle back and you're getting ready to make a run and then you just give them 2 or 3 uncontested baskets where they don't have to work with it. Because once we got them in a half-court deal, we did a pretty good job guarding them, but then we'd let them have offensive rebounds, and we knew that was going to be a problem, but we just got to get better at that.
All right, let's take a peek ahead. You have a couple of days of preparation, and you have your rival New Mexico State coming to the Pit on Wednesday.
Yeah, and they're playing really well, and they got a good team, so our guys better be ready. So, you know, I told them, I said, we're going to get to work, we're going to watch some film. You know, one thing with this young team, they got to figure out, you know, and this, I know it's not done a lot, but they had a lot of guys watch tape in high school, and they gotta start being able to see plays on the floor and places on the floor and how to put that into play when they go out on the floor. And they're having a hard time with that right now. And you know, we've been doing a lot of tape work, we've been doing a lot of floor work, but we got to get better at that stuff.
Well, that's an interesting thing. Let me quickly follow up, Hunter, and you can have the last question. I remember talking with you last week about the Delaney dunk that was so spectacular in Puerto Rico, and how Scott Didrikson had pointed out on the broadcast that that's something that you can only recruit. Well, this is stuff that you can't teach, and it is a young team, like you were talking about.
Yeah, you can teach that, and that's the thing. But you know, they've got to kind of figure it out. And I think they're trying really hard. I mean, we have notebooks. We're watching tape. We'll watch the whole game tomorrow. And I told them, I said, guys, this is the part of coaching that I like because of tapes, but you better bring your big boy pants tomorrow because you're going to be embarrassed after you watch the tape, because tape doesn't lie. You're going to get right out in front of your peers, so you better be a man enough to handle all the mistakes you made, and we got to correct them. And the one thing I was disappointed in, you know, and I thought they came out really, we didn't do a good job. We took 2 bad shots, turned it over. We didn't come out like we should come out. And the biggest thing is we got beat on a lot of 50-50 balls in the first half that we usually get, and that can't happen in our building.
Yeah. No, the bench, I thought, had some brilliance. I mean, JoJo Firstinger came in. He played. He gave you some good minutes. You know, Logwood kind of gave you some good minutes. Xavier started. You see him.
And you know, we got to get somebody in there that's going to help us get off to the start that we can get off to. And you know, if we can't get off to a better start, then we're going to keep changing it and keep trying to figure it out.
Thank you, Craig.
Oh, anytime, guys. I appreciate y'all. Thanks.
Craig Neal, Lobo head coach. Your Delta Dental Coaches Comments brought to you by Delta Dental of New Mexico. Almost 400,000 New Mexicans covered by Delta Dental plans. For more info,